Alright, shalom to the hopefully elect. If I get started, I'm going to give all the praise and the glory and honors to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rahag Kodash, which are giving me the spirit and the strength to do this lesson. And also I want to give double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone that rule well and that teach well, Ba'ashem Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rahag Kodash. Wa Shalom, Wa Barakim to the elect, beginning with the 144,000, which are scattered abroad and in every place, redeeming the time and ready to be saved. Shalom. Alright, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemel Shai, I'm back with another show. And Lord willing, Abaratazah in the Hebrew is edifying to the elect. Alright. And this is an article. All right, pretty much, about the wicked. All right, because they're being exposed on a high scale. All right, Esau looking bad right now. All right, and who is the wicked? It's Esau. All right. The so-called white man, beginning with the elites, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Gettys, the Oppenheimers, the DuPonts. All right, and then it trickles down to the rest of the nobles, which is the Senate, all the Senate, the Republicans, Democrats. You got guys like this, Bill Gates, Joel Epstein, Elon Musk, all right, the presidents, all right, these are the wicked, all right. Well, not the Slovakia, not the president. Well, if they're Edomites, but you get what I'm saying. That they're all being exposed, all right. They're all being exposed. And this is prophecy right here. Alright? And, like I said in my other lesson, you have these insiders, bringing out a lot of this information. And they're doing it predominantly. The spirit of Yahweh Shemel Shai is allowing them, compelling them to do that for our sake, for the ministry's sake, for the truth's sake. All right. And this is the people's voice. All right, they bring out a lot of good, articles and information. It says leak Epstein footage reveals Bill Gates cloned thousands of babies in underground labs. Now, what comes to your mind when you read this? All right, they're getting rid of all natural of things. The everything that is natural, they're getting rid of it. All right, look at the foods, look at the fruits, look at the earth. All right, you can't go in the store and find anything. You can't find seed, grapes with seed anymore. All right, fruits are becoming seedless. All right, nothing is really just natural anymore, man. The way of life. It's just everything is becoming artificial, okay, and that's through the ill will the wicked, man. All right. So once again, it said leaked Epstein footage reveals Bill Gates clone thousands of babies in underground labs. All right. So we're living in a time where a lot of things that are hidden are coming to light. Yahweh Shai, matter of fact, let me get this scripture real quick. Get the book of, okay, Salakia. Let's get the book of Luke. Chapter 8. Luke chapter 8, verse 17. This is Yahweh Shah speaking. He says, "For nothing is secret. For nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest." You see that? Neither anything hid that shall not be made, that shall not be known and come abroad. Whoo, shit. You know? So, hey, Yahweh Shah prophesied about these times. Alright? Read that again. He says, "For nothing is hid." That's like it. "For nothing is secret that shall not be made known, made manifest. Neither anything hid that shall not be known and come abroad." You see? This leaked Epstein footage is come abroad. All right. Hey, and everybody, these other nations, they seeing how sick and mad, you know, these devils are, man. All right. But you know, let's read on a little bit more of this article. It says Bill Gates clone babies on Pedo Island. It says, since the release of the heavily redacted Epstein files, one name has gone silent. Bill Gates. Yeah, Bill Gates. It says, no interviews, no statements, just a billionaire lying low while the public races to catch up on what we've been reporting for years. Right. And the scriptures say, what is that? Let's see. Yep. What is that? Proverbs 28:1. It says, "The wicked flee when no man pursueth." You see? This is how we know. Look, this is one of the ways we can identify who the wicked is. All right. It says the wicked flee when no man pursueth. Matter of fact, let me get this in the blue letter. I want to see what it says in NLT. The wicked run away. This is the NLT, Proverbs 28:1. The wicked run away when no one is chasing them. But the godly are as bold as lions. That's right. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so like I said, not Epstein, Bill Gates, he's fleed, disappeared. Alright? It says since the release of heavily redacted Epstein files, one name has gone silent: Bill Gates. No interviews, no statements, just a billionaire lying low while the public races to catch up on what we've been reporting for years. It said Epstein network was never just about trafficking. It was about power eugenics. It was about power eugenics. Depopulation. Alright? See, that these devils are being exposed, man. Alright? And this is how we know that this is the end. Alright? Because as the scripture said in the Apocrypha, okay? What is that in the Sirach? It says, I was just reading it. It's Sirach. Let me see. Sirach. Sirach chapter 11, verse 27. Okay, here we go. Sirach chapter 11, verse 27 says, the affliction of an hour maketh a man forget pleasure, and his deed, and in his end, his deeds shall be discovered. There you go. And in his end, his deeds shall be discovered. We're talking about Esau because we are at the end of his rulership. This proves that we're at the end of their rulership, man. Alright, because their deeds are being discovered. Alright? And their wicked deeds. Alright? It says, once again, Epstein network was never just about trafficking. It was about power. Eugenics. You see, it's all about power with them because they want to be the most high. Alright? Control, total control over, the people on the earth. It said it was about power, eugenics, depopulation, right? You have all these chaos, different catastrophic events. Well, that's Esau deploying such events. All right. The scriptures go into that. It says, "In the long game of controlling humanity." Man, I just said that. You know. You see, the scriptures tell you, "Hey, we gotta know. You gotta know your enemy." We know our enemy. We know Esau. We know him up head to toe. All right, and that's what they're afraid of. And that's through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, man. It says it was about power, eugenics, depopulation, and the long game of controlling humanity itself. Gates believed money could bury the truth. Whoo! You hear that? Now, one scripture come to mind when I read this. It says Gates believed money could bury the truth, and could bury the truth by the media. All right. Well, yeah, it says Gates believed money could bury the truth by the media and corrupt government officials. He thought he could bury the stench of evil under foundations of philanthropy. However you say that. Okay, so he said he thought he believed he could bury the truth. Right? Now, what scripture come to mind when you read that? Let's get what's that? Isaiah 29. And 15. All right, this is Isaiah chapter 29, verse 15. It says, "Woe unto them." Whoo, this is good right here, man. All right, it says, "Woe." Salakia. Yeah, Salakia. It says, Isaiah 29 and 15. "Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord." You see that? Like you said, he paid millions. They paid millions and trillions of dollars to keep the information that's being brought out hid. All right, kept secret, and but hey, that has failed. It says, "Woe unto them that's," because it was already written. It was already spoken that them and their plans and their deeds will be revealed. All right, it must be for them before it must be, because that's prior to their fall, their complete fall, their utter fall. All right, it says, "Woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord, and their works are in the dark. And they say, Who seeth us, and who knoweth us?" Right. Who seeth us, and who knoweth us? But see, they don't know that spiritual sight and his wisdom has been given unto the men of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Alright? Alright, let me see. That's not what I want. Let me get this in NLT. just want to see what it says. Alright, this is the NLT. It said, what sorrow awaits those who try to hide their plans from the Lord, who do their evil deeds in the dark. This is Esau, man. Primarily Esau. You see, because you know that Epstein and Bill Gates, they do their wicked deeds under Epstein Island. It's underground, like we read. All right. This would be them who do their evil deeds in the dark. All right. It says, who do their evil deeds. Let me read that again. What sorrow awaits those who try to hide their plans from the Lord, who do their evil deeds in the dark. The Lord can't see us, they say. He doesn't know what's going on. But what does the scripture say? The Lord have created the ear, and can he not hear? And he have created the eye, can he not see? All right. And it says, verse 16, it said, how foolish can you be? Right. That's Esau. How foolish can you be? He is the potter, and he is certainly greater than you, the clay. Should the created thing say of the one who made it, he didn't make me? Right. He made you. He made you wicked to be who you are. You think he don't know what you up to? It's crazy, man. That's why I said, how foolish can you be? He is the potter. All right? And he is certainly greater than you, the clay. Should the created thing say of the one who made it, he didn't make me? Does a jar ever say the potter who made me is stupid? Like he didn't know what he was doing when he created you. Right? Read that again in KJV. It says, woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord, and their works are in the dark. And they say, who seeth us and who knoweth us? Surely your turning of things upside down shall be esteemed as the potter's clay. For shall the work say of him that made it? Yeah, for shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? Yeah, like I said, you know, he created you wicked to be who you are. Right? You're doing what you're doing because you were created by him to do so. All right, that's why I said, for shall the work say of him that made it, he made me not? Or shall the thing framed say of him that framed it, he had no understanding? Right. Like, you know, like the Lord knew exactly what he was doing when he created you. All right. Yeah, so it said Gates believed money could bury the truth. Right. It says, but by the media, right? By the media, but that didn't work either. All right. And corrupt government officials. You see how they did all this? They tried so hard to keep this truth, man, to keep the truth from being hid. To keep the truth hid. You know? It said Gates believed money could bury the truth. by the media and corrupt the government officials. He thought he could bury the stench of evil under foundations and man, I don't not how you say that word. You know, we're gonna learn together what this word is. Man, how you say it?
Philanthropist.
Philanthropist. Philanthropist, from Greek meaning loving people, is someone who actively promotes human welfare by donating significant resources like money, time, skill, or property to help others and improve society, focusing on long-term public good rather than personal gain. So yeah. So this was a part of this is what they did to, to distract the population, the people. All right. They try to do what's that? Focus on public good, create positive, lasting change, contrasting with private business and government effort. Right. But you see, they try to do good. They do good, and the scripture's going to that. If he would, damn man, I was just reading that. Okay, what is? Let me see. Sirach chapter 14 verse 7, it says, if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly. You know what, I want to see what what it says in the, what's the GNT. Right here it says in GNT, it says Sirach chapter 14 and 7 says, when such a person does something good, we're speaking about a wicked person. It says, when such a person does something good, it is only by accident. His selfishness will sooner or later be evident. Right. A selfish person is evil. He turns his, and that's Esau. They selfish. So them, showing that they doing this good to the communities and the world. That's not. That's deceitfulness. That's them deceiving you. They're not really like that. All right. And that's why we reading this right here. It says, when such a person does something good, it is only by accident. His selfishness will sooner or later be evident. Man, this is good. It said a selfish person is evil. He turns his back on people's needs, and that's what Esau's getting ready to do. All right? Your rights will be taken away. Ain't gonna be none of that. All right? Hey, the scriptures talk about, people finna starve to death. We seeing that now. They don't look, man. The cost of living is high. You think they give a damn? Hell no, they don't. It said he turns his back on people's needs. We see that now. That ain't something we got to wait to see. We see that now. But it's going to come to full-fledged here in a minute. It said, and is never satisfied with what he has. That's Esau. That's fucking Esau, man. What it tell you in Habakkuk? What's that? The 7th chapter. It speak about how they cannot be satisfied. But heapeth. It said he cannot be satisfied, but heapeth unto himself all nations and people. The New World Order, man. All right. It says he turns his back on people's needs and is never satisfied with what he has. That's right. Greed will shrivel up a person's soul. Some people are too stingy to put bread in their own table. All right. But back to the KJV, it says, and if he doeth good, he doeth it unwillingly. Wow. It said, and at the last he will declare his, at the last, are we not in the last? We're at the last. All right. This is it, man. All right. And at the last he will declare his wickedness. Right. It said, coaches, man, is not satisfied with his portion. Yeah, he want more. All right. It says, and the iniquity of the wicked dried up his soul. But you see, so once again, how you say that word again?
Philanthropy.
Philanthropy. All right. It said, but he covered up. But the cover, see, look what it says. It's all a cover up. It's all this what I just read. It said Gates. I'm gonna read it again. Gates believed money could bury the truth by media and corrupt government officials. He thought he could bury the stench of evil under foundations and philanthropy. And we just went into that word. What that means. But the cover up, see, it was all a cover up. It's falling apart in real time. That's right. They're being exposed. All right. Let me get this again. All right. Isaiah 29:15, he said, woe unto them that seek deep to hide their counsel from the Lord, and their works are in the dark. And they say, who seeth us and who knoweth us? But what does this say over here? Jeremiah 49:10. This is what the Lord said. Jeremiah 49:10. But I have made Esau bare. Whoo! I have uncovered his secret places. There you go. And that part of that's the Illuminati, and that's going into the hideouts, these underground places, these underground labs. All right. The secret societies, man. It says, but I have made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. Man, and he shall not be able to hide himself, right? Not like they used to. They used to be able to hide themselves, but now we know who they are. All right. It says his seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. And that's what it's finna be. Alright? So once again, it said now leaked files, verified, explosive, and deeply disturbing are circulating on the dark web, revealing how you say that word? Grotesque. Okay, revealing grotesque. I'm just curious. What does that mean? The word grotesque primarily functions as an objective meaning for strange, ugly, or unnatural. See that unnatural, like I said prior. That making everything in the world unnatural. They're taking away the natural of things. All right. It says unnatural in a way that is shocking or upsetting. It's shocking to the world, not to us though. Cause we already know. Like I said, we know these devils, man. It said it can also be a noun referring to a person, thing, or artistic style that fits this description. Grotesque. Oh, grotesque. Yeah, it says science experiments. Let me read that again. Now leaked files, verified, explosive, and deeply disturbing, are circulating on the dark web, revealing grotesque. And we just went into that word, meaning hideous, shocking, whatever. It's a revealing grotesque science experiments on Epstein Island that cross from science fiction into outright horror. Alright? And when the public finally learned the truth about Gates and Epstein's sinister bromance, the consequences won't just expose a man. They will shatter the myth of who really runs the world. You see that? And the world, these people that they playing catch up. We already know who runs the world. They don't really know. Alright? It said they will shatter the myth of who really runs the world. The released, heavily redacted Epstein file shows Gates was far closer to Epstein than the public was led to believe. But the details of their crimes, gone. Blacked out by FBI redactions that serve one purpose: protecting the cabal. There you go. The elites. Look at this clown. I say, yet not everyone inside the agency is loyal to that order. Some refuse to accept that a VIP pedophile network will never face justice. Yeah, they will. Trust me, believe that. He said those insiders are now releasing highly disturbing, unredacted material designed to ensure that Gates' carefully protected world enters into final countdown. Alright? And that goes into Psalm 64. Their tongues shall fall upon themselves. Alright? Egyptian against Egyptian. Alright? It says right here, this was never just trafficking. That was the cover story spread by the media, right? Because they paid the media, as we just read. They paid the media to come up with this cover story. All right, they paid the media, but that didn't work because you dealing with, hey, it's about prophecy, man. You can't upset the prophecy. All right, it's already written that you demons will be exposed fully. All right, it says Bill Gates oversaw the cloning of thousands of children on Epstein Island in a deep state genetic slaughterhouse. Man. Beneath the island was a military-grade biotech lab built with CIA black budgets, Mossad support, and big tech billionaires funneling millions through Gates proxies. The elite, there you go, you see that? The elite, who is that? The Rockefellers, the Gettys, the DuPonts, the Oppenheimers, thought disappearing Epstein would solve their problems. They were wrong. In July last year, Ghislaine Maxwell broke her silence from prison. She told us she was burnt by the elite who promised her a sweetheart deal. She also said she remembers every name on the client list and that she wants to testify before Congress. Then came the real bombshell, Bill Gates and the Butterfly Trust. Covered up by the mainstream media, this shadowing group recently forced to settle with victims. Forced, you see that? To settle with victims was heavily funded by Bill Gates. It says, according to Maxwell, it was the beating heart of Epstein and Gates' eugenics project. A covert breeding operation to clone babies. Right? To clone babies born into slavery and seed the earth with elite DNA. Wow. With elite DNA. So, you know that, what does that mean? They're trying to make a superhuman race. All right, a superhuman race. All right, says sick, absolutely, but it gets worse. It said this wasn't. It says this wasn't fringe science. This was industrial scale eugenics. Epstein funded Harvard and MIT, CRISPR, gene editing research, and the files he left behind shows children were used as a raw material for experiments that make Nazi doctor Joseph Miguel look like he was taking a Hippocratic oath seriously. For years, the piece didn't quite fit. Epstein, transhumanism, the WEF, and the IDF secret experiment, thousands of missing children. You see? And we've heard about this. All right? All those children that was coming up missing. Well, most of them, look what, this is where they were abducted to. It said for years the pieces didn't fit quite fit. Epstein, transhumanism, the WEF, the IDF, secret experiments, thousands of missing children. It all felt too dark, too incomprehensible, too wild, too real. But it was real, you see? Epstein was working on genetically engineering black people. black people. It said Epstein was working on genetically engineering black people. All right. Let me see something. Mm-hmm. And it's heavy. It said, I'm read that again. Epstein was working on genetically engineering black people to make them smarter. And they show you that movie Get Out. All right. Those of you that seen that movie, you know what I'm talking about. All right. It says, and women to make them more empathetic. All right. Let's go down. It said, then there was the baby cloning experiments with Gates. Long widespread about survivors. The evidence is now emerging and the scale is massive. We are talking about thousands of children born without parents, without birth certificates, completing outside the protection of the law. The fouls are damning. And Gates, he's scrambling because he knows what's in those documents. The money, the research, the agenda, it all points back to him. Gates wasn't just funding global health. He was bankrolling the very foundation of SB eugenic obsession. This isn't speculation anymore. The truth is this. The global elite have been playing gods for decades. There you go. Drunk on the power to create and destroy life at will. Like I said, Isaiah 14, in the 14th chapter, he said, I will be as the Most High. I will be like the Most High. Alright? Cloning babies, harvesting Andrew Coney, how you say it? Andrew Coney. That's not doing it. It said harvesting and adrenochrome, torturing and killing, and rituals hidden behind wealth, science, and philanthropy. Right? They thought disappearing Epstein would solve their problems, but now the evidence is surfacing. Despite the DOJ's attempts to redact everything, the files are leaking, and the survivors, like Juliet Brandt, are bravely speaking out. Alright? So, man, it's a lot of good information, man. And, hey, the information is out. Esau is being declared, alright, and we're in the end. Alright? So yeah, Lord willing, is edifying to the elect of Israel. And until the next time, I say shalom.